We in every data type we have certain operations. Okay, we have simple operations also, we have complex operation also. So in the similar sense, for sets we have operations like add. Add means what? I want to add an element to the given set. So if my, it's taking my set, where is my set? Okay, yeah, this one. Let me just copy this. Oh, sorry, let me just copy this and place it here so it's visible to you. So my set has these elements. Now I want to add something to that. Okay, let me just copy. So my set dot add. You remember in list we used list dot append. So in sets I'm using my set dot add. Now you might get a question: how will I remember? Like in sets I have to use my set dot add, and in list I have to use my. Two things. One is by experience. The other things you can do a Google search, because I know. I mean, it's reality. Like nobody can remember all the functions. Okay, but when you do practice, you do programming, you came to an understanding. Okay, these are the functions which are used with sets. These are the inbuilt functions which can be used with list. Even though if you do a wrong thing, right, you will get an error and you will understand. Like this function is not defined. This is not applicable to this data type. You will get an error. So this is how, I mean, we learn or we program something. Okay, so no worries on that front. So yeah. So now what I did here, explicitly added duplicate elements. So set, what set will do, set will remove these duplicate elements and only keep one element. And the other thing it did is it used this function to add 7 at the end. So in the output, what I got 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7. So now you might say, okay, Kapil, I will use again my set dot add to add a 7, and then I will see what will happen. Will the set will add? Because this is a function of addition, right? It should add an element to set, but set has a default behavior. It doesn't allow duplicates. So then what will happen? See, even then I'm using this for the second time. I already used here for 7 as an element. Even then I'm getting a unique output of elements. Even though I use this 10 times, but because the set has a behavior of not taking duplicate values, it will try to give me always a unique set of elements. Okay, I hope this example is clear to everyone. Okay, I will take it as yes. Okay, so the another example is to remove element from list. So remove function, I think you might already have seen in a list already. So it's very simple. You just give which elements you want to remove. My set. So you have this set, my set dot remove, and you give the element, and that element will be removed. See, 1 2. So I gave 3 here, so 3 is not there. 5 6 7. That's it. Very simple. Now what will happen if the element is not present here? So I didn't, there is no 7 element in this my list, right? Oh, sorry, 10 element. So if I try to remove, if I try to give 10 here, then what will happen? It says key error 10. It's trying to searching this 10 where it is trying to search in this, but there is no, element 10 here in this, right? So that's why I'm getting an error. Okay, very simple. Okay, now remove can remove sorry remove can remove an element from a set, but there is one more function which could confuse you. There is something called as a discard. Okay, so do I have 11 here in this my set? No, right? So if I use 11 in remove, what will I get? I will get an error, right? But in discard, if I use 11, you see I will not get an error. Why I will not get an error? Because discard function, what discard function tell? Remove an element from the set if it's a member. What do you mean by member? Member means it's a part of the set. So if it's a part of the set, it will remove, discard will remove. But if it's not a part of the set, see, it's written unlike set.remove, the discard method does not raise an exception. What is this? This is an exception, right? This is an error. So, but discard doesn't do that like that. Discard is like a silent kid. Okay. So if it's silent kid mean what? If it's not there, it will not raise an error. If it's there, it will remove. Unlike the set.remove, the discard method does not raise an exception when an element is missing from the set. It will not raise the exception. It will just keep it silent. Okay. Clear, right? Remove and discard. Okay. Okay, so removed element. Again, this is a pop method. So we already use pop in list. So what it will do, it will try to remove an element. So let me, I have used, let me again copy this my set and then place it here. Okay. Now on this, I will use my pop operation. So what will happen? So you just have to hover it. See, pop method define, it will return an integer. Let's see what it returns. And then we will print removed element. My set dot pop function I'm using. Let's see what will happen. So it gave me an output of 1. And then let me try to print the set. So you see, one element was removed. From where? This element was removed. Pop mean once. Take out an element. So let's say again I'm using pop. I will use it twice and then I will try to print. Here one element will be removed. Here another element will remove. See, 1 and 2 removed. 3, 4, and set has a unique behavior. It will not print these values. I mean duplicate values. So 1 and 2 are removed. And let me try to show you something. Whenever this is removed, right, you will get a value. Removed element, let me try to keep it removed element 1. Let's say this is 1, this is removed element 2. Here I'm printing 1, and here I'm printing 2. Okay, you see, removed element 2 has what? It has 2. Removed element 1 has what? It has 1. So whenever I'm using this function, it will remove that element, and that element will get assigned to the variable whichever you put on the left. So I can directly print that variable. So here also I'm printing that variable, and then I printed my you can say my set. So whatever the remaining set elements do I have, so I was left with these. And set has a unique behavior of only accepting the unique values. It will ignore the duplicate values. Okay. Okay, so now let me again copy this. We'll paste it here. So there is another function which is called as myset.clear. This clear function we have discussed in, I think, tuple also. So what this will do, so I use this function clear on this set and myset.clear whenever I'm using it, and then I'm trying to print this. So we'll get a empty set. That's it. Now there is one more way to check or to get an Boolean output with a particular data type. You can try this approach with the tuples as well as list also. Okay, so if I need to know like whether 3 is present in my set or not, whether 3 is present or not. So it's a true, right? 3 is present here. See?
Yes.
So if I directly write here in print also 3 in my set, it will return me a Boolean value, whether 3 is present or not. See, I am getting true. If I write, let's say 10 in my set, so it returns false. So it's very easy. So I do not have to, otherwise what would I have to do? I have to use for loop or if conditions to check whether a particular element is present in this set or not. But here I can do it easily, right? I'm just getting if. That doesn't mean, that doesn't mean for loop or if doesn't have their own uniqueness. They have their own uniqueness, but just for this operation I can use this if I need to get a Boolean value, and it's very simple and easy. Okay, so let me keep it 5. So 5 is true, and then if I uncomment this, it will get false. Now this example we already did. So we had a duplicate values here. We use a function which is called as a split. So split function you might be using. So whenever you are using anything text related, right? When there could be a condition where you might be opening a file. Opening a file means, let's say there is a file here. This is dictionary.ipynb. In the Python, if you write like, let's say something. So I'm just writing. You will write like open file named as 3.4. I'm not writing an actual code. I'm just writing in English. Dictionary. .ipynb. So when you will write this file, right, then what you will do, then you will do a read operation on this, because I want to read whatever the content in this file is. When you do a read operation, right, then there are certain functions. One of them would be in those file related or text related operations, I will be using heavily this text.split. Whenever I want to convert a text into a list, the text could be directly like this, the text could be from a file. In the files also, there could be a text, right? So do I have a file like this? I mean, it doesn't have much of the text, but at least it has some text. So this is also file, right? This also does not have. Okay, it could be any file. This file is also having some text, right? So if I read this, right, then I might want to use this, where is that split function. So why I'm using this split function, because what it will do, it will split each individual elements as in a list like this in this tutorial. Then once it is done, right, so what will happen is now it's easy for me to perform. So when this is converted in list, right, I can perform all the operations which are allowed in a list.
Hey everyone, hope you enjoyed our session at LWP Labs. For more videos like this, you can subscribe to our channel and contact the number for live classes. The future is now with AI.